everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Marval, the series where we introduce you to the people behind the scenes who are shaping the Marvel platform that you use every day. Today, I am really pleased to be joined by Rick, one of our esteemed senior developers in South Africa, who's been with Marvel for an incredible 13 years. During that time, Rick's played a key role in shaping the development of the product, helping modernise the platform and drive the technical direction behind a lot of what our customers experience today. Rick's also something of a Kubernetes expert, so we'll talk about this shortly, as well as being heavily involved in how we deliver and evolve Marvel going forward. Rick, it's absolutely fantastic having you here. So, as I said, you've been with us for 13 years, which in tech years is practically a lifetime. How has the product evolved during that time, and what role would you say you've personally played in shaping it?
Like you've nicely introduced me, my name's Rick. I am a senior software developer and cloud engineer at Marvel. I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa, sunny Cape Town, beautiful place. I've been with Marvel this is my 14th year, in fact. So in September, it'll be my 14th year. Yes, it's a lifetime from a developer's perspective to stay with one company, but the challenges at Marvel and developing this product are so interesting that it's very difficult to step away. Before Marvel, I spent 10 years in the industry in South Africa with various enterprises doing software development, so I have over 20 years of experience. Over the 13, 14 years I've been at Marvel, I've been involved in every facet of the product, and we've evolved the product from a simple web interface to now a hybrid cloud deployment. We have taken the product through many, many features. I was personally responsible for re-engineering huge amounts of features like complete rewrite of the auditing system for compliance, real rework of the integration capabilities, from importing emails and rules around those to executing actions externally to the system through a rule-based operation. I have been involved in rewriting interface a few times and re-engineering the backend. I've also been highly responsible for investigation and troubleshooting of performance issues on customer systems, so I've been fairly customer focused as well. What we've done over those years is we have taken Marvel from a on-prem simple installer product that has to run on a Windows system with IIS to being able to be deployed efficiently and effectively into the cloud using Kubernetes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rick. It's interesting to hear because we've not actually gone through your history. You and I went in our chats, but it's also amazing to see just how much the platform has evolved during your time here and the part you played in that journey. So thank you for that. Building on that a little bit further then, so Marvel MSM has continued to modernise over the years as tech and customers' expectations have changed and evolved. What would you say have been some of the key steps that we've taken to keep the platform evolving?
We've had to up our game in terms of keeping up with the technologies. It's always a challenge when you initially create a product, it becomes so feature rich and people depend on those features. It's fairly difficult because our product is more than 15 years old and started with .NET 1.1, and moving out of .NET 1.1 ASP.NET Forms into a new technology has its challenges. So that is something that I'm fairly involved with and have been assisting other teams who work on their new interface to be able to integrate with our legacy systems so that we are able to choke off the old system and move the functionality over to the new system. So we've been going through implementing APIs and interfaces for that to occur, and so that we can refresh the interface. We've also been improving our CI/CD pipeline in terms of being able to deploy Marvel to the cloud. So we have integrated TeamCity, Octopus Deploy, Terraform, Helm, Kubernetes, and we are able to automate a complete tenanted deployment system where from release of a version of Marvel, it can automatically be made available for tenants to upgrade and for new tenants to deploy, as opposed to how it was on-prem. This sort of can be done in a few minutes rather than half an hour to an hour as it was traditionally. So not only are we improving the technology base and the user interface, we are improving how the deployment occurs and how we are able to deliver the product. We also have been doing a lot of work around linting, which is deep analysis into the code, checking for security, applying what we call quality gates so that we are able to make sure that the code that we produce is of good quality. And then we have a third-party rigorous penetration testing to cover any and all security concerns that customers might have. With the complete picture, we are able to ensure the product is secure, deliverable, fast delivering, quality, and of course, have a plethora of automated testing and processes that the team use, and various teams and various layers of testing that take place. But that's all part of the CI/CD pipeline before it actually becomes a releasable product. We still give the on-prem release as well, but we really are trying to shift focus towards the cloud.
Fascinating. It really is fascinating hearing about the thinking behind the scenes and all the work that's gone into it to keep the platform moving forward. And thanks for explaining that so clearly. I know you've mentioned there, you touched on sort of Kubernetes, and one thing that does come up often when we talk about our technical approach is Kubernetes. For those who aren't technical, like myself, could you explain what Kubernetes actually is and why it's important to Marval, and ultimately how it benefits the end user, the customer?
Absolutely. So as part of our journey towards cloud deployment, we've experimented with various ways in which the product can be deployed and try to automate these things. Now, there's several options. You can provision a virtual machine and install it on that virtual machine in various ways. For example, we tried using a NuGet package to install Marval through that. The time it takes to deploy it's very prohibitive, very clunky, very clumsy. So the way forward was to containerize Marval, which was a challenge in itself. We managed to containerize Marval. We've used the latest .NET framework for security purposes and Server 2022 images. Once we containerize Marval, how do we run it? Well, there are some container running services that are available, but they are very limited. In steps in Kubernetes. Kubernetes is kind of like a container manager. Often when we install things on our operating system, we'll install libraries and we'll install other products. And sometimes these libraries conflict with each other. So what we do is we isolate the complete deployment of the system into what we call an image. And then any operating system using specialized software can just run it as if it's an isolated, completely separate operating system on a virtual machine. So a virtual machine within a virtual machine. And so this orchestration system called Kubernetes allows us to manage these containers. So what it'll do is it will up a container, so it'll run a container, it'll down a container, it will restart a container. If it dies, for example, for some reason, if it falls over, it will scale a container. If it's using too much CPU, it will make another copy of the container on perhaps another virtual machine. If there's a lot of users, it will create a second version of the container and it will load balance the calls between those two containers. The system allows for a lot of flexible situations, and it allows for scenarios where we can move towards zero downtime. Also, it allows us to be able to add additional features outside of the system, or to be able to integrate third-party systems without having to recompile the system and redeploy it and all sorts of other things, or complicated setups on actual virtual machines. It really allows us to be able to leverage the power of the orchestration to be able to make seamless extensions and automations in a very elastic way.
It's a really helpful way of explaining it. Thanks, Rick. That's especially for those who are not developers or technical minded. I think that's a very, very clear layout. So thanks for that. And a great example also of how the technology choices behind the platform ultimately support what our customers want day to day. From a development and delivery perspective, how would you say our technical approach helps ensure things like reliability, scalability, and that continuous improvement piece that's so important?
We're not only looking at the technologies that we're going to use, we're also looking at the processes that we use to deliver our system. For example, we want to use different branching models where we're able to promote code through various branching and various gates and different systems, and be able to ensure that whatever we're going to be releasing has gone through the necessary quality checks without disturbing development. So development can continue developing on the development branch, and features are merged into what we call the pre-release branch, where the QA process takes place. Any sort of issues that happen there get corrected, merged back into the development branch, and then the release is upgraded to the master branch, which triggers off a release. Now, certain systems may be automated to opt in to be able to have that automatic deployment done on a continuous basis. Our delivery method is to ensure that firstly we are able to get as much quality as we can into the product, and that deploying the product into the same environment that the customers would be able to expect the product to be deployed, ensuring that we don't have any surprises, that everyone's done their quality checks, the automated tests have run, and then being able to automatically bring that through to the customers. We want customers to be able to sort of manage their own instances. We have in development right now, but it's not available at the moment. We have a platform that allows customers to deploy and manage and update their own instances automatically so that they are in full control of their cloud deployment. As I spoke before, Kubernetes offers us a lot of scalability. That's sort of all taken care of with the underlying technology that we've selected, which is quite nice. And it's just a matter of tweaking metrics per customer to decide when they would like things to be scaled. Because of course, with scalability comes cost, and there's cost management is a big part of our delivery model.
That's great, Rick. And I think I speak on behalf of the customers, not only internally, but it is quite reassuring to think and hear how much thought and engineering goes into making sure the product and platform does remain stable and scalable for our customers. I think it's a really important key piece for us. And looking ahead, no conversation's complete without talking about AI or automation. And, we know that technology is evolving incredibly quickly with the rise of AI and automation. So where would you see the biggest opportunities for Marvel in the next few years? And what role do you think AI is going to play in shaping that future for us and our customers too?
You need to be in a world where data flow from various systems is easily managed and easily facilitated so that customers always have the information necessary at hand to be able to make decisions. And so obviously being able to facilitate and integrate with various systems and being able to work with data from various systems is going to be crucial. To facilitate that, I think AI is quite critical. Marvel's got a data residency first architecture. So that means data is isolated per customer in their own region or area so that we don't have any sort of compliance issues. So whenever we deliver AI, it will be around the customer's data, right? Unless the customer opts to allow us to be able to sort of do any training or any ingestion of their data. I think shifting to truly predictive service management, where we use analytics to anticipate issues, sort of auto-resolving is a big part of the future, and sort of to orchestrate the end-to-end workflows for customers. One of the simplest examples we've used at Marvel always is automating resetting a password, right? And this is where AI tools can come in because they have the capability to use tools and automatically parse information. So they're very powerful in being able to find out what the user wants and being able to determine what it needs to do to achieve the outcome. Especially if you have predefined tools, what we call MCPs, where there are predefined functions that the AI can leverage to be able to execute what the user needs to do. So that is quite exciting. And we've already started, in fact, using AI to do a lot of work and to solve a lot of problems fairly quickly.
It's really exciting to hear, isn't it? Like I say, it's the future, but it's clear within Marvel specifically that there's a lot of innovation happening behind the scenes, and to give our customers what they want, but like you say, to also help our developers to deliver the best that we can. So really great to hear. Thanks, Rick. It's fascinating actually hearing about the work that's happening behind the scenes and the thinking that goes into evolving the platform. It's clear there's a huge amount of expertise and innovation that sits within the development team, and that work is what enables Marvel to keep delivering a powerful and reliable platform for our customers. So thank you for taking your time to share your insights today, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more opportunities to do the same. And to everyone who's watching, we hope you've enjoyed another episode of Inside Marvel and looking at the expertise that really drives us forward, and we look forward to seeing you again for the next episode very, very soon. Thanks for your time.